Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the Altcoin show, coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world today. Thanks for watching. Today, the title of my show is it time to buy altcoins? Is the worst over? Should we be buying? Well, I'm going to answer that question and a whole lot more. I'm going to show you how you can take an upside down portfolio and turn it right side up. We're going to go into the charts. And of course, before we do all of that, smash the like button. This helps get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel, as does all the comments, the beautiful comments that you take the time to write. I take the time to read them and respond. I appreciate all of that. So the question is it time to buy altcoins? Well, let me answer that in a couple of ways. First of all, let's look at, I thought this chart was very interesting from Carl. Over the next 24 months at current prices, there won't be a single month with less than 1 billion worth of altcoins being unlocked. Sustainable market structure for sure. In other words, he's being very sarcastic. That's not good. That means there's a whole lot of supply flooding the market. Probably not the demand there, leads to further price suppression, okay? So that's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about the altcoin market. That's number one. Number two, we just continue to see these scam tokens. I warned you about OM. OM was a coin that I shared about way back in May, I think, when it was around 40 cents. It went up all the way up to $8. And I urged everybody that I was selling, I was getting out, and I had some red flags about this project. And I know now many people in the Discord and on YouTube are now thanking me for helping them get out of that position, not get stuck with this. And I don't think that's going to recover. I think this token is dead. I think the credibility of a project that this can happen like this, I don't think it's going to recover. Not a drop like that, not so sudden and to the downside. That's OM, of course, if you're wondering which token. Maybe you've never heard of it, OM Mantra, but it had been one of the stars of this bull run. OM is the lunar of the cycle, 6 billion wiped out in 30 minutes, but why did it happen? Well, you can find out all about that. OM died, a top 50 coin, gone, 6 billion erased. 6 billion erased. And so I'm sure this will be properly investigated and looked into, but very sad for anybody that lost money or still was holding OM, which is the ticker. So very risky to be in altcoins at the moment. If you look at Bitcoin dominance, it's just peaking. It just keeps going up. And so the risk was to have stayed in altcoins. Now, I did share back in January that, first of all, I was selling out of all my low caps and meme coins and high risk coins, and I was only going to be in 4 and 5 tokens, Bitcoin being one of those. Thank goodness I did that. And those that listened to me, and I urged people and I warned people about Ethereum, and I got out of Ethereum. And then in February, I saw some warning signs there, and I took some profits across the board, and I got out of the remainder of my altcoins. And then just being in Bitcoin, again, I shared all of this and shared the setup so that I wasn't in a position where many people are right now, 20, 30, 40, 50% down because they didn't stop out of their projects or they didn't take profits at the tops. And remember, again, I do not panic sell bottoms, okay? I look to panic sell the pumps, and I look to panic buy the dips, but not the dips that keep dipping. That's like trying to catch a falling knife. You don't want to trade against the trend. So do I think it's a good time to buy altcoins? No, I don't think that it is a good time to buy altcoins, but I will tell you my strategy and how you can profit from the altcoin market. And you can see that even Total 2, came all the way down to the 200-week moving average. That's kind of bear market stuff there. Total 3 looking a little bit better, but not much better. Again, came all the way down to the 50-week moving average there. That's looking a little bit better, but okay. But let me show you how I am trading right now. So for example, SUI, this is a good example. And there's a couple of ways, because this is the question that I'm being asked a lot now from people. They're underwater 30, 40, 50%. What do they do? the price isn't really going up very much. We're making, as we can see with SUI, we're just making a succession of lower highs and lower lows. And of course, we can break trend at some point, and that will be great. And then I would flip more bullish, and then I would say, hey, I'm a buyer and let's go. However, this is the question that people have. And so the answer to that question, that they say, what do they do? Well, really, what do you do when you're 30, 40, 50% down? These are the options. One, you can average down your position. And so you can buy more lower to average down your position. But what happens if the dip just keeps dipping? And what happens if you're in a coin that already found its top or is going to zero or is never going to recover, might lose 90, 95% and just sits around and just doesn't do anything? And now remember, most tokens, in my opinion, have already made their all-time high for this cycle. Just as in April of 2021, XRP made its all-time high and then didn't run with Bitcoin up to November. Dogecoin made its all-time high in May and didn't run up with Bitcoin to when Bitcoin, for 7 more months, Bitcoin ran up to November 2021. So number one, I believe that most altcoins have already made their all-time high. Okay, so I don't want to be averaging into a coin that already topped. Okay, I don't want to be buying a dip that keeps dipping. And so you have those 3 categories of coins. You have the coins that have already made their all-time highs, and sure, there'll be little pumps along the way, but they've topped for the cycle. You can have coins that are dead or dying, and then you have coins that are going to move with Bitcoin and make new all-time highs. Now, it's identifying those coins. Now, I think some of those coins, one of them I think will be SUI. I think Solana will be another one as well that can make a new all-time high if Bitcoin goes up and makes a new all-time high as well. Okay, and I think there will be others. I think Ondo could be another one that's in that category, as well as Potenza Tau. Those are my 4 big plays at the moment. I've been very vocal about that. I don't think they'll be the only ones. I think there'll be other coins that will go and make new all-time highs if Bitcoin makes a new all-time high as well. So averaging down the position is one of the plays, but then there really has to be conviction that you're in a coin that's going to go on and make a new all-time high. Otherwise, you're just putting money into a coin, and now that investment that you average down on is even lower again, and now you're in a bigger pickle than before. The second strategy you can have is you could cut that position completely. Let's say you put $4,000 into a coin, maybe it's worth $2,000 or $3,000. You cut it and you take the loss, and you're out of the position, and now you've freed up money where you can trade your way back to break even or profit. We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, or option 3, if you had that spare capital on the side, you can hold your current position, maybe average down a little bit and just let it be, and then use that additional money to trade your way back to break even or profit. And we have members of the Tribal Trades Discord that I've taught that are already doing that, and some of them are already back to or almost back to break even. In other words, they've recovered their portfolio even though they were down. And let me show you how I'm teaching how to do it. It's so easy because I did it in the last cycle and proved this method it works, and it's just so simple. Here's how it works. Let's take a look at a coin like SUI. Every day in the Tribal Trades Discord, I give entries and take profit levels. I give support and I give resistance. I give targets to the upside. If it breaks above a certain level, target to the upside. And if it breaks down from a certain level, target to the downside. So I teach leverage trading in there, where you can trade responsibly, leverage trading. You can even trade as little as 1x short to the downside, which is a spot buy, believing that the price is going to come down to the downside. It'd be like buying at $2.38 and then taking profit all the way down at $2.20 or $2.10 and making profit as it goes down, for example. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you can make money and learn how to do that and how to get set up. We take you through the A to Z on how to do that. People who never leverage traded before, let alone how to do a short, are leverage trading both long and short and making money. But you don't have to, this example, which I'm going to show you, you don't even need leverage trading for. You can, it will help you, but you don't even need leverage trading for. So let me just show you how it works. So let's just say you sold your position for $4,000 position. You sold it for 2 and you got 2 left. Okay. Let's even say that you took 1,000 of that position, just 1,000 of that position only 1,000 that position, okay? And, or let's just say that you had an extra 1,000 to spare. Okay, well, let's just look. You establish a range. First of all, you look at the range that's trading, and you can clearly see there is resistance at around $2.38. That is where most of the resistance has been. Sure, we had a big push to the upside here, and we had some downside here down to around that 210 and 190s area, but we pretty much traded in this area here, okay? Now, imagine you take the trade that I give in the Discord at $2.20, and this is the trade they give over and over again, and you take the trade at $2.20 and you sell at $2.38. Now, you have a stop loss, maybe 1 or 2 cents under, and you might get stop lost out, but you get back in again on any breakthrough. So you might lose 2 cents worth of your trade, okay? And let's just say you're trading with $1,000. I'm going to show you how this worked out over a month. Now, taking it from $2.20 to $2.38, you can see that this happened. I've counted out 14 times that this happened up and down. There's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 times you've got to get an entry from $2.20 up to $2.38. So 14 times 16 cents, that's a 18 cent move. So 14 times 18, yes, 14 times 18, but it's not really, because let's just say you got stopped out a couple of times. So let's just say we're going to do it at 6. We're going to be quite conservative with that, okay? So we're going to go 14 times 16 cents, and you had $2.24. So $2.24 that you would have made in the entirety of those 14 moves. You times that by $1,000 and you got $2,240. Boom, you just made back the area just by swing trading. And that's only trading to the upside. Imagine if you'd shorted. If you're a part of the Tribal Trades Discord, you'd know how to short, because we do extensive leverage trading, live tradings, where you can interact with me personally in the trading, ask questions live in real time. And if you're stuck or anything, and we have an incredible supportive community, the Leverage Lounge, aka the Party Zone, incredible traders in there who are finding success, who are helping new people come in. And of course, there's a big Q&A section as well in the Discord, many channels. But here's the deal. Imagine if you'd actually taken those trades to the downside, you would have doubled your money, $4,000. So now you're up on your position. Now, I'm not saying, some people aren't comfortable shorting, and that's fine. You do so with a stop loss, but you would have traded this 14 times the downside, and you would have made $4,500 just in the last month with $1,000 investment trading this strategy alone. Okay, as you can see, because you just take a short to the downside and you just open up a short when you hit 238. And sure, there would have been a few times you would have been stopped out. You can see you would have been stopped out a few times here, and so I've accounted for that. I already removed that in my calculations, okay? Because I've done it that you were stopped out 14 times. Even though you wouldn't have been stopped out 14 times, you probably would have only been stopped out maybe about 6 times there, 7, 8 times there at most. So I've actually been quite conservative with my calculations. And so now you're in a position where you have accumulated. All right, let me give you the last step to this strategy. And by the way, if you do want to sign up the Tribal Trades Discord, there's a link below in the description. You click the More button, that will pop out, and you can join the Tribal Trades community there. I'm also part of the Stocks with Josh community as well. I have my own Crown Traders channel in the Stocks with Josh Discord. I do some leverage classes in there as well. And of course, in my channel, I share some of my trade setups, some education resources, insights, and of course, entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? And this is just one coin. Imagine you do this across a number of coins, okay? And this is why some people go, oh, I don't have the money. Well, sometimes option B is cutting your position and then just actually swinging these coins and bringing your account back to health. I did it last cycle, and I'm teaching other people how to do it this cycle, and people are finding it to be successful. You can see, listen, it's simple. You buy the support with a stop loss, you sell the resistance, okay? Or you short the resistance with a stop loss and you sell the support when it gets down to it. It can't be more simple. my goal is that one of these swing trades will eventually do something like this. And this was one of the live trading sessions we had, but we were in a live trading session, and I 225 entry, and we were able to ride this all the way up to $2.79. Just kept going. You don't have to get out at $2.38. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can set a stop loss that just goes up with the position, and as long as you don't pull back and it just keeps going up, you can stay in the position. So my goal is that one of these swing trades, one of these 14, how is it going to be, 15, 16 swing trades or whatever, as it continues, we don't know what the number will be to, will eventually take off and not come back, and Sui will make a new all-time, and that swing trade can actually turn into a longer-term trade that I can write up in the market. Maybe that can still happen, and maybe this could be an incredible entry for that we can just keep riding to the top. And so that's the second benefit of trading this way as well, is that number one, I make money or make back money. If you're down, you make back that money. And then number two, that one of those swing trades just ends up being a really long swing trade or longer term hold. Let's just say the market tops in November. Well, that might end up being like a real good 7-month hold from now all the way up to November. You know, you can do that with Solana. You can do that with Bitcoin. You can swing trade Bitcoin that way as well. Cow has been another brilliant one where we've been trading in the Discord. It also is great because you don't have to be full-time trading doing this. You can see that those 14 trades took place over the course of about a month, over the last month, from about mid-March to around mid-April. So you could have taken all of these trades over a month period, and you just set the entry, you go into the crypto play section in the Discord, you set the buy, you set your stop loss, you set your take profit, and then you can just go to work, do what you need to do, and you don't have to babysit the trade. But of course, we also do other trainings as well in the Discord where there are people that just scalp in and out on the 5 and 15 minute time frame, and they're in and out of many trades as possible over the course of the day, okay? And that's also great. So if you're that kind of person and you think, yeah, I'm at home and I want to learn how to be a day trader, we can teach you how to be a day trader as well. And that's another way that you can make back any deficits you have by scalping. I call it day trading, scalping. Swing trading's more for those who might have 9-to-5 jobs, more pack schedule. So wherever kind of trader that you are, whether you're a shorter term time trader and you want to make some money every single day, and maybe you are a 9-to-5 worker and you just want to get up early and trade for 2 or 3 hours and make that money, or in the evening when you get back, that's another option as well. Or a swing trader where you can just take some of those trade setups in the Discord and put them in and just set your stop losses and your take profits and so on, and then just go about your day. You can periodically check in on it, of course, and make money that way as well. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's session. And as always, until the next episode, or until I see you in the Discord, happy trading.